Hello everyone, welcome back to my GH Spoiler channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. General Hospital full episode, March 10th, 2026. Wiley catches Chase with Michael's keys. Truth explodes. Port Charles is on fire, and nobody, not even the walls of the Quartermaine mansion, can contain the chaos that erupted on today's explosive episode of General Hospital. Fans had been screaming for weeks that something was off, and Tuesday, March 10th, 2026, delivered the kind of gut-punch, jaw-dropping, rewind-it-3 times moment that only GH can deliver. Clear your schedule. Cancel your plans, because what Wiley Cooper Jones witnessed today will ripple through Port Charles for months. The keys that started it all. It started innocently enough, or so it seemed. Wiley, now a sharp, perceptive young boy who clearly inherited his biological father's instincts, had been exploring the Quartermaine estate grounds after school. The afternoon sun filtered through the old oak trees as he raced toward the main entrance, breathless and glowing with the easy joy of childhood. But the joy, it evaporated the second he spotted Detective Harrison Chase crouched by the side entrance of the family garage, fumbling with a set of keys. Not just any keys, Michael's keys. The distinctive titanium key ring with the engraved MC that Willow had gifted Michael on their anniversary. Wiley had seen those keys 1,000 times. He knew those keys. "Uncle Chase?" Wiley's voice cut through the silence like a blade. "Why do you have Daddy's keys?" Chase froze. For a man who'd stared down Port Charles as most hardened criminals without flinching, the wide, innocent eyes of a child rendered him completely, devastatingly still. Chase's cover story crumbled in real time. Chase scrambled. His explanation that Michael had asked him to grab something from the car tumbled out fast, too fast, with the practiced smoothness of a man who'd rehearsed it but never actually believed it would hold. And it didn't, not with Wiley. "But Daddy's at the office," Wiley said, his brow furrowed in that uncanny way that made him look exactly like Michael at his most suspicious. Chase's silence was deafening. Chase's jaw tightened, his hand closed around the keys, and that's when the scene shifted from suspicious to seismic, because Willow appeared at the top of the garden steps, a bouquet of fresh-cut hydrangeas in her arms, and a smile on her face that died the moment she saw the two of them. "Chase," she said, her voice dropping to something careful and controlled, "what's going on?" The confrontation that followed was one of the most masterfully written scenes GH has gifted fans in years. Willow set the flowers down with eerie calm. She asked again, slower this time. Chase's silence said everything his words refused to. And then, because Port Charles has a way of perfect, terrible timing, Michael Corinthos himself pulled up the driveway. The color drained from Chase's face. Wiley, bless his pure little soul, ran toward his father with arms wide open. "Daddy, Uncle Chase has your keys. He said you gave them to him, but you didn't, right? Because you were at the office." Michael stopped cold, his gaze locked on Chase, on the keys, on Willow's expression, which had gone from confusion to something raw and devastating. Michael Corinthos Jr. was raised in the shadow of Sonny's empire. He knew guilt when he saw it. He knew betrayal before the words ever came. "Chase," Michael said, "quiet, measured, dangerous. Talk." What followed was the kind of confession that rewrites everything. Chase had been using Michael's access codes and his emergency key, which he'd copied weeks ago during a friendly favor, to dig through the Corinthos Quartermaine private files. Not for personal gain, not for a vendetta, but because someone had gotten to Chase first. The name Chase finally dropped hit like a thunderclap. Ava Jerome. Ava, it turns out, had been quietly collecting leverage on the Corinthos family for months, and she dangled something irresistible in front of Chase. Evidence that could either destroy or protect the people he loves most, depending on whose hands it ended up in. Chase had been trying to get there first. He told himself he was protecting everyone. He told himself he had no choice. Michael stared at him for a long, terrible moment. You broke into my life to save me from someone who may or may not have been a threat without telling me, without asking me. You were trying to be the hero. You always are. Michael cut him off. The real gut punch came after Chase left, shoulders hunched with shame, Wiley watching him go with heartbroken confusion. Alone in the garden, Willow turned to Michael and asked the question that cracked this episode wide open. Did you know about any of it? About what Ava has? Michael's pause was one beat too long. Michael, her voice was barely a whisper, tell me you didn't keep something from me again. The camera held on Michael's face, on the war behind his eyes, on the way his hands balled at his sides, the same gesture Sonny makes when he's carrying a secret too heavy to hold. He didn't answer. The screen cut to black. The fallout and what's coming next. Port Charles, brace yourselves. Spoilers suggest that Ava's endgame is far larger than anyone currently suspects, and that the evidence she's been holding involves a secret so explosive it could shatter the Corinthos family and the Quartermaines simultaneously. Chase's betrayal, however well-intentioned, has cracked the trust between him and the people he loves most, and Willow's faith in Michael is officially hanging by a thread thinner than ever. As for Wiley, that boy saw everything, and in true GH fashion, the child who asked one innocent question may end up being the only person in Port Charles brave enough to demand the truth, no matter what it costs. One thing is certain, this is only the beginning. Ava Jerome doesn't make moves without an endgame. Michael Corinthos doesn't stay silent without a reason, and Harrison Chase doesn't fold without a fight. The truth is out there, Port Charles, and it is going to burn it all down.